Hello everybody, and welcome. We're here at Le Castellet, the Circuit Paul Ricard, for the French Grand Prix in Ultimate Virtual. This is a fixture of the calendar that has been here for a few seasons now, joined us I believe in Season 3? Yeah, that would make sense. It's now been added as a track to the base game, no more modding needed to get this track, similar to Monaco where we raced last week. A wonderful creation by Caddo, his home circuit, and he's going to be looking for a really good result here if he can manage it. Welcome to the 3-minute qualifying session. We had some rain coming down in Monaco last week. We'll have to see if that affects qualifying once again this time out. A reminder of just how things are going generally in the championship standing so far. Grandi won the Monaco Grand Prix last week. Watch that race if you haven't seen it already, but a little bit of spoiler here. Jake took another podium there, similar to the one he took when he won the race, his first ever win back in Season 3. And Bluebell got Kolos Tvorza's second consecutive podium. A great start to life in Ultimate Virtual for the new Fijian team. On the grid, Kubo once again took points, but only a P5 for his 3 tokens. Ben Sobel fell to P6 near the end of the race. Abva second in the championship, 3 consecutive point scores for him. A really solid start to the season for the Fox Oversteer driver. And looking good just quickly at the constructor standings, ThunderX absolutely blazing the way ahead. Neon Sunset and BFX tied up in their battle over second at the moment. Both teams doing pretty respectably, and a very close pack from 4th down to 8th. We've got 6 points separating the teams, including Superfast Racing. Kolos Tvorza tied for 4th position. Good starts from both of those teams. Velocity and Porsche, however, will be disappointed with their starts this season so far. Not that guy yet to take points in Ultimate Virtual. Currently has the fastest lap in this qualifying session, and that might be all the dry running we'll get because the rain is on the way. The clouds are going to be coming immediately, and unless anyone decides to stay out, I believe we should get a completely rain-soaked ending to this qualifying session. Nobody will be improving. Even if the dry weather came back right now, it would still be too long of a period for these drivers to go out and set dry laps. So as it stands and as it looks to be solidified due to wet running at the end of this session, not that guy yet to take points in Ultimate Virtual would take his first points if we had it for pole position. Takes pole here in Le Castellet. What a fantastic performance from the Italian driver. FVR got off the mark with their first points last race in Monaco, and what a fantastic way to back that up this time around. A really solid performance from the Canadian team, from the Italian driver. We'll have the grid for you in just a second. Looks like Caddo and then Bluebell will start second and third. More to come very soon. Oops. Not that guy takes pole position here at the Circuit Paul Ricard. Caddo at his home race will start on the front row of the grid. Bluebell Boy will start third for Kolos Tvorza. Another fantastic qualifying for them, for him particularly, as he started on the front row last race and finished on the podium. Then it's ThunderX 4th and 5th. Grandi ahead of pit crew. Fantastic qualifying from them. Andrews will start 6th for Kolos Tvorza, 7th for Abva, 8th for Hetmenica, 9th for Jaruni, and 10th for Anti. Fox will start 11th ahead of Apple Amazing, then Kubo, Andrian, then Rito and Sobel lock out the 8th row for BFX, who are thoroughly being outperformed by the junior team in recent races. Kamikaze, then Vladinator, Urist, and Jake Brad, old BAV Season 3 teammates. Urist becoming the first driver. They finished 1-2 here in Season 3, and Urist became the first ever driver to sit on the podium while not spending any tokens in a race that was not entirely tokenless. So, fantastic job from them. That race they've not done as well this time around. We'll show you the token plan now as we have it. Neither tokens for the BFX drivers nor the Neon Sunset drivers. That would explain their absences from the top 10. It's 13th and 20th for Neon Sunset, and it's 8th row only for BFX. Then we've got Grandy spending 2 tokens, starting in 4th position, about what you'd expect. Pit Crew yet to spend a token this season, and already with a really solid number of points, I believe 9 to his name, starts 5th place. No tokens for him again today. Hetmenica, 2 tokens, will start in 8th place. I feel like a bit of a broken record saying this, because we always seem to have a Dutchman starting in 8th, but they have shown all the way back in Season 2 prowess from starting 8th position on the grid. Then Cado spending 4 tokens, starts on the front row of the grid. Not That Guy spending 3 tokens, starts on pole position. Anti spending no tokens, starts in the top 10. Abfa spends 1, starts 7th for 1 token spend, is a rare thing in Ultimate Virtual, but definitely something that the drivers, look to with curiosity, because if it works, it really can work. Any number of points that you get above sort of 9th or 8th position is an absolute plus, and Sobel getting 8 points with it last race, very nearly 12. If you've got a car that's capable, the world's your oyster. Bluebell Boy spends 4 tokens, starts in 3rd position. Andres spends 2 tokens and starts in 6th. Jaruni, also notable, 9th place with no tokens spent. We only have the 6 token spenders this race, a few less tokens than we saw last time around. Indeed, only really about 15 or so spent total. No, it would be closer to 18. That's right, but still a chunk down from Monaco. Really interesting stuff. Just to finally pop up the overview, obviously ThunderX leading the championship by a long way at the moment. 23 points separates them and second place, 10.2 points per token. Incredible from them. They've got the fastest car and will continue to do so for this race and for Sunderland Hill next round as well, because of that triple upgrade period. And then interestingly enough, Fuerza Roja doing really well on the points per token as well. Both teams have that 3 speed, as do Fox and FVR, both of the Canadian teams with 3 speed, and that is why you might see them overperform where you'd normally expect them to, just because of how important that speed stat is. But neither teams have bad cars via index either. If you look at the index, Porsche have the 3rd fastest behind BFX and ThunderX, and then Fox have 4th fastest. Tied 5th is VLO and FVR 6th Neon Sunset. Is that right? Looks about it. Must have miscalculated somewhere. Oh no, yeah, no, Neon Sunset, that makes sense. Fox 4th, 5th and 6th, 7th, and then 8th, 9th and 10th, it looks like, for for KTV, then SFR, then Fuerza Roja, but KTV very much outperforming the car that they have at their disposal at the moment. I think their grip stat really helped them out in Monaco, and this is a very grip heavy track as well. Lots of tight corners and places where if you have no tyres left, you'll be really struggling, as we saw with the BFXs back in Season 3 that cast them off the podium and off the top positions because of that terrible pit stop error. I mean, they didn't come in at the very end of the race, and we had something very similar happen to Sobel in Monaco as well. So the team, in their winning ways as much as they are, still can really get it wrong from time to time. Enough talking now as we get ready for the race start here in France. Here we go then. The race start right ahead of us. Not That Guy on pole position. We're underway here at Le Castellet. Cado gets a good start. Can he try and get past the Italian racer into the first couple corners? Doesn't look like he'll get much of an advantage there. He's going to actually have a bit of pressure behind him. Bluebell drops back a little bit from that 3rd position. Can Pit Crew make a move down the main straight? Both callers towards the Sterling on the hards, but they get a really good run down the straight into the chicane in the middle sector. Hetmenica with a great run through there on the soft compound tyre. Can he go round the outside? Possibly. Up into the back of Cado. He actually loses a little bit of ground there, but it's Grandy in 2nd place. He's gotten past Cado, as has Bluebell. Massive pile into the final corner, 3 wide down the main straight. The soft runners really benefiting in this early stage. Can they get past the other corners towards now Hetmenica and Cado? Yes, they just about get through. Cado though slightly forced wide onto the red and black stripy runoff, gets immediately back past Bluebell, but Bluebell deploys a little bit of that turbo, and that's going to get him back through. Pit Crew in 6th position, make that 5th now. Cado gets a bad line through the chicane. Can Pit Crew go round the outside of the fast right hand sweeper just down into this twisty bendy section now? Does get that move finally done. Bluebell holds third place, not that guy down to second, and it's Grandi, who at the end of lap 2, only spending 2 tokens here today, hits the front at Le Castellet. He won here last season, of course. He won last race in Monaco. He's looking to, for the 3rd time in his career, win back-to-back races, but not that guy yet to score points here in Ultimate Virtual, looking for a potential race win or at least a podium for the FVR team, who only took their first points of the season last race, with Girouni finishing 4th. Up they go now into the final section through the curves that are so classic to Le Castellet. So much grip required just to get your car pointing the right direction on the exit and not slide here, there and everywhere. Not that guy back through. Cato back up into 3rd place. Bluebell falls down, but nobody falling down really more than Andries, who's down into 13th position off that race start. 7 positions lost. It's a really terrible start, as has Antti, down from 10th to 7th. Jake and Eurus make their way up past Vladinator. Not that guy continues to lead. Antti, of course, led for such a long time here in Season 3. Looked like he'd take a win in what was otherwise a very much BAV dominated spell, but alas, a huge issue for him coming up to the middle sector chicane just meant that win was cruelly snatched away. Limped home with a technical issue. Only 7th place for the Finn in the end. He's got his compatriot running very much up in the podium positions. Bluebell with an amazing start so far. Pit crew battling amazing. Looking at the token spends, I believe that neither of them are going for anything at the moment, so a 6th and 7th place battle is fantastic for them. As it stands, Abva with 1 token is just down in 9th position, and Andre spending 2 tokens has fallen down to 11th currently. Hetmenica spending 2, he's in 5th position. Kato spending 4, is in 2nd, not that guy, spending 3, fighting for the lead of the race as we see these two fighting into the final corner. Pit crew gets the better launch there, not that guy continues to lead. Kato right behind at his home circuit, but he just goes wide, and so does Bluebell Boy, as they head into that very, very tight left, right into the right-hander. Pretty much a hairpin, just taken very much at low speed. And yeah, Kato through there. Can he get a move down the inside on Grandi? What a fantastic maneuver there. Can he keep it on the very dusty outside line through the final sector? All 3 of our leaders in to pit lane, and Bluebell will go through and take the lead of the French Grand Prix for Carlos Tvorza, looking for a 3rd consecutive podium for the team. He's spending 4 tokens today. The team actually won't have that many left really after today. They've only got 8 remaining after this race, but they're looking to take huge points here if they can. Remains to be seen whether they can even get past Thunder X, in fact, for the enormous lead that team has currently. But Carlos Tvorza, with on paper one of the worst cars, are really pulling good performances at the moment. Not that guy and Hetmenica battling now. Hetmenica finished on the podium here in Season 3. A really good drive from him that day, just snuck on. And yeah, interesting stuff. Grandi, the winner last time in Season 4. Andries comes through. It's a battle of the Dutchmen, and Het gets a little bit of a love kiss just on the way through, or a love tap rather, as Andries makes his way up that main straight. Het can immediately battle back towards his fellow Dutchman, but pit crew definitely looking to pick up any scraps if there are. Sends a half move up the inside, but gets it done. Gets better traction out of the chicane than Andries as well. And on those fresh soft compound tyres, Pit Crew gets his way up into 5th place. He's only a position behind his teammate, and he's not spending any tokens. What a fantastic start to the season he's had. Het and Marta left just sort of stuttering in their wheel tracks. They have no idea what to do about this fast Brazilian man right behind him, now right ahead of them in fact. Leading now is not that guy. Kato moves into 2nd place. Bluebell's hards are finally wearing out, and the 2 initial front runners move their way, the front row starters. I mean, this is exactly the top 4, top 5 even, as it was on the starting grid after qualifying. Grandi now moves his way up into 3rd. That's not particularly unexpected. Bluebell is taking these hards for as long as he can and going for something very alternate in terms of strategy, seeing how much longer he can go, because all of these guys were in after 6 or 7 laps. Bluebell on lap 10 still out here. Not that guy has been passed by Kato in that new look velocity for this season. They weren't showing it off at the first race thanks to their Azulejos livery for the celebration of Eurist and the W-Tech team, who of course took a 1-2 at Adelaide last season. But if you look at that car, it's a beautiful sort of burgundy with gold stripes, and the 9 stars on the rear wing, celebrating their 9 race victories. Eurus has taken a fair few of those, I believe. I think it's at least 3. Yeah, that sounds about right. And Caddo comes up to lap his teammate, in fact, at the moment, as they just work their way through the drivers who are first and second here back in Season 3. How time turns the tables. It's really 19th and 20th for them at the moment, behind Kamikaze, who comes out of the pit lane ahead of them. That is humiliating. I mean, that's really properly embarrassing. Not that guy, though, really getting stuck up in traffic here. He was lucky not to slide off at that corner that we've seen so many drivers go off at already, but uses a bit of boost and just closes back up to the back of Caddo. Gets a poor line through the chicane, though, and will struggle a little while longer in that lapped traffic. Meanwhile, Grandy looks to close in here. He's in 3rd position at the moment. Not quite where I wanted to pan to, I'm afraid. Down in 4th place is Hetmenica, who has stopped, has put on the hard compound tyre. Bluebell stopping much more recently, also putting on the hard. Pit Crew down to 6th now as Abva looks to take that off him. Pit Crew goes into the pit lane, and Abva will inherit that 6th place. Just a bit behind Apple. Amazing, running a solid race for Porsche at the moment. No tokens, but he's 8th. Sobel and Andries, the 2 Dutchmen, or 2 of the Dutchmen, battling through the final corner. Andries spending 2 tokens here today. Really looking for a good result. Apple, amazing Belarusian driver, comes out behind these 2. And indeed, not that guy is part Dutch, half Dutch, although he does fly the Italian flag in the league, and he goes for the exact same pit strategy as Caddo, as does Grandy as well. They really have confidence in that soft compound tyre. As I say that, they all go for something different. Not that guy on the yellow striped medium, and Bluebell and Het, like an explosion, come bursting through into turn 1. Side by side they were. Het has older tyres than Bluebell, so he must have just caught him on that main straight as they caught all of those guys coming out of the pit lane. It is now 1st to 5th, separated by about 2 seconds. What an incredible what an incredible pack this is that we have on our hands. What a great fight. Bluebell on slightly worn hards, not that guy. Fresh mediums, fresh hards for Caddo, fresh hards for Grandy, and more worn hards for Het, who will be falling off the back of this pack, but dragged Grandy down a little bit with him. We've got a massive train of cars to lap now. Eurus and Jake and Commie, and all getting sort of shoved here, then, everywhere. It looks like it was mainly the lapped cars who got the brunt of that, but Caddo moves his way past Bluebell, and by the time they get to that chicane, Caddo moves himself back into the lead of the race. He's never won a race. He's finished 4th 4 times. Never taken a podium for Velocity. His only podium was for Fuerza Roja, and he's took his first points for Velocity in Jeddah, and looking for some really good stuff here today, potentially taking that race win. We'll have to wait and see. Didn't spend tokens here last season, of course, because of the poor state of that Fuerza Roja car early in the season, but really, you know, looking like he might be in contention for the win here today, judging off the strategy. Bluebell on the hard to get past by Caddo on the much fresher hard, but rain is on its way. Remains to be seen how long this rain will stay for, but currently, as they're looking to head into the pit lane now, it's Caddo followed by Bluebell, the not that guy, and Grandy. Hetmenica has the chance to stay out, but he probably wouldn't really have any reason to with how worn out those tyres are. Abra and Pit Crew will come in from 6th and 7th positions. Any complications in the stops? Not really, but we do have a very tight pack, and the wet looks like the right tyre. All those pitting now should be taking it. Not that guy shoved off on the outside. Grandy shoved off on the inside to that right hand corner. And not that guy uses a bit of boost, tries to get past, but gets stuck behind Fox. And will he get... Oh, he just threads the needle on the exit of the chicane. Does really well to blast his way through. Will he catch Caddo now out in the race lead? All but 3 on the grid taking the Inter. It was Fox, Kubo and Vladinator, who should fall a little bit further back now. And you can see Fox there, but Grandy gets a really bad shove off at that final corner. He was looking really strong in the opening laps of this race. Only 2 tokens spent here today, but with such a fast car, and the BFX is not spending anything absolutely nowhere. Surely it looks like this is the place where Grandy could take one of those esteemed 2 token victories, but it's not looking like that at the moment, as he just gets backed up by the black and pink Bluebell boy Kola Stvorza car livery chassis thing. The sister team, of course, of BFX. Caddo continues to lead here. The fight for the lead has been swapping here, there and everywhere. in the opening laps of this race. As we head on to the 19th lap, it is the Frenchman out in front. It is the Finn moving himself up into second position very cleanly. Then Bluebell takes a really big bit of grass as they exit that corner. Meneka in 5th position at the minute. Then it's Pit Crew running in 6th, battling Adva for it. Will they get a bit of grass here? Yes, they will. Adva gets a really bad shove off. Vladinator will get a penalty for his troubles there once again. These lot now coming up to lap Jake and Urist, and Andrew, Vladinator, Kamikaze all down in that fight in last place as well. It's a big scrap between 16th down to 20th, obviously not for any points. Grandy now right on the back of Caddo as Girouni might look to just slow down the Frenchman for his teammate, who does now get past him. Grandy up the inside into the chicane, blast pass on the straight using a bit of turbo, but completely gets the chicane wrong. Uses too much turbo on the entry, goes really wide on the exit, side by side through scene they go, down into the sweeping right-hander that kills tyres off, and Grandy has the outside, turns into the inside for the left-hand section. Caddo isn't done with this fight yet, into the final corner, half-centre move, side by side they go down the main straight. Grandy just edges ahead into turn 1, Caddo looks to switch back underneath him into turn 1. Can they get a move done through turns 3, 4 and 5? Not that guy up the inside takes second position here. Bluebell joins this fight. What fantastic wheel to wheel battling we're getting here at the halfway mark in this French Grand Prix. Through the chicane they go, particularly treacherous in wet conditions. Not that guy now really on the back of Grandy, looking for a half move up the inside. Grandy should, with the wider sweeping outside line, have more speed to carry through the track. Is going to start trying. Not that guy with a really wide line, and he shoves off Grandy, but no penalty for the Italian. The Finn falls back into the clutches of the Fijian and the Frenchman. Not that guy though. Really bad line through turn 1. A huge fight going on here. Caddo will get forced really wide. Bluebell now up into second. Will he hit the front into the chicane? Yes, he will. First place for the Cola Sforza driver. The team not having finished above third in their ultimate virtual tenure so far. Around the outside of scene he goes. Oh my lord, oh my lord. I need to calm down here. Fantastic scrapping from these bunch. Bluebell leads, not that guy, slightly wide line to the final corner. Grandy up into third. Caddo in fourth, and Meneka has fallen off this battle, but to be expected with how long he was stretching those hards in the early stints. Caddo and Grandy side by side. Caddo gets a penalty for his Warriors, and that's exactly what you don't want going down a big straight. He's now 8/10 behind the Finn. They go line, all in line through the chicane. Bluebell now leads this French Grand Prix. We're just over the halfway mark. Caddo holds the fastest lap as it stands. The BFXers actually fighting tokenless, but over that final points position as it stands. And not that guy takes a really poor line in, takes a really wide line, gets all held up in the runoff area, just taking too much speed through the penultimate corner, going way deep in the final corner. He's going to fall down to fourth. Meanwhile, the BFX is forced off. More rain was announced, but now we've got clouds coming back again. The weather constantly changeable here at Le Castellet. Grandy right behind Caddo, who now uses Rito as a little bit of a bumping shield to keep him from going off wide at the chicane. Grandy tries to get a bit of moisture on those tyres, taking the inside line into scene, the outside, all the way around the outside, coming into the sweep, but does get the move done. What fantastic racing by the Finn, but he goes deep. Caddo will immediately take that spot back into the final corner. Grandy to the outside at turn 1. That's a very treacherous place, and he has to just stamp on the brakes as through turn 2 he was looking to go way deep, finds a way up the inside into that corner at the end of the first sector. What a fantastic bit of scrapping we're having here. We've only run, well, we've got 20 laps to go here at Le Castellet. Rain has completely wiped the strategy. You can see the interrunners struggling as well. Vladinator down in 19th position. As it stands, Bluebell took a stop fewer than the rest in the top 4. Meneka and Abba also a stop, also 2 stops as opposed to the 3 that most have at this point. Bluebell was side by side with Grandy, but will retake the lead. Can Caddo come and find his way through here for a potential podium position? Second place for him. Can he turn it into first? The track is drying. Girouni is the first driver onto the slicks. They're really careful, tiptoeing through the chicane, but Caddo up the inside into scene, rides that curve, takes the inside once again through that next section. Now the track is completely dry. They've got pretty worn wets after a prolonged wet stint, and surely this is all of them now into the pit lane. You very much expected to be the top 3 in. Not That Guy just fell back from that podium fighting pack. Will there be any issues? He gets slightly blocked off into pit lane. And I think Bluebell also got slightly blocked off. He is now down into 3rd position. It's softs for Caddo and Grandy. It's mediums for Bluebell Boy. Bluebell's teammate Andres won the Lisbon Grand Prix last season. He's running in 8th at the moment for 2 tokens. This is actually looking to be the first really bad result of Colas Torts this season, as they've done very well with their token spend so far, but not the case at the moment for Andres. Have a look at the rest of the top 10. It is Sobel currently running in 10th, ahead of his teammate Rito. Apple Amazing running in 9th, also tokenless. Andrews running in 8th, 2 tokens for him. Pickery tokenless in 7th. Advil 1 token, 6th place. Fantastic, 8 points per token as it stands. He just needs to keep this going. Hetmenica, I believe 2 tokens are here today. We'll have a look at it. Yeah, it is 2 tokens for Het. It's 2 for Grandy as well. 4 for Caddo, 3 for Not That Guy, 1 for Abver, 4 for Bluebell, 2 for Andrews. But Het running well in 5th place with 2 tokens, better than his 7th for 2 tokens. In Jeddah, Not That Guy running in 4th, 3 tokens for him. Bluebell, 4 tokens in 3rd, 2 tokens for Grandy in 2nd, 4 tokens for Caddo out in the lead. And I think the battling we've had so far just seems to be an accumulation of the 4 token spends for Team Velocity, who I believe have the 7th fastest car on the grid. Colas Tforza with the 9th fastest car on the grid, or 8th fastest car on the grid. So the 4 token spends for them. Then we've got Not That Guy in the Flying V Racing car, which is tied 5th fastest, spending the 3 tokens, and Grandy in the fastest car spending 2 tokens. It's that accumulation of car versus driver that really is bringing this pack so close together. But Caddo looking for a first Velocity podium, a 10th win for the team. They will be the first ever constructor in Ultimate Virtual to reach 10 race wins, and what an achievement that would be for the team. What an achievement it would be for Caddo to take his first ever win, his first podium for his new team, and his team's 10th podium at a track he can call his home. Le Castellet, made with his own hands and raced with his own car. Fantastic race from him so far, but Grandy looking to spoil the party. Grandy himself on 8 race wins. It actually begs the question, we've never had a Thunder X race winner who isn't Grandy, but he has taken 8 between Buenos Aires, Brest, Singapore, Le Castellet last season, Barcelona, Mugello, and I believe it's, sorry, is it only 7? It's Buenos Aires, Brest, Singapore. That's 3, as we see Grandy outside of scene. He had a really good move on Caddo earlier at this corner. Can he replicate it up the inside? Just blocks off that Caddo approach. Goes slightly narrower into the last couple corners. Can he get that move done? Caddo slides wide at the final corner, and the race suddenly looks to swing back in the control of Grandy. Same strategy, same tyre for them at the minute, but Caddo now 1.7 seconds off. So he has three wins for Grandy in the first 3 seasons. 3 wins last season, 1 bit previously. This would be his 8th, yes. The most of any driver who isn't Grandy would be 6 for Kubo, who won 3 races in season 2, 1 race in season 3, 2 races in season 4, yet to win for his brand new team, Neon Sunset Racing, this season. Bluebell Boy gets past Caddo. Now Caddo needs a bit of cooperation from his teammate Uris, just helping him out here. Yeah, he sort of stops him from going off track at that final corner, so good racing lines there. Kubo, as just mentioned, coming out of the pit lane now and makes life a bit difficult for Caddo. Throws him wide into that wall, but Caddo will recover pretty well. Grandy's not had a flying end to this stint. Caddo flies right up to the back of this top 2, and we're going to have a 3-way fight for the lead once more. Bluebell looking up the inside of Grandy into scene. Can't make a move work there, can he? Into the long right-hander. Caddo here, they're nearly going 3 wide. Kubo also joining this battle. Bluebell to the outside of Grandy. Caddo to the outside of Grandy. Oh, Bluebell gets forced wide. He wasn't planning on going to the pit lane, but he just had Caddo send a lunge up the inside of him into the final corner, or into the penultimate corner rather. Bluebell did recover it, didn't go into the pits in the end, but did lose a lot of time out on the grass there. Not too much more than he'd lose by just running wide simply at that final corner. Not That Guy now up into 2nd place. This would be very well timed if rain came for him right now, looking to put him back on the podium after he fell off the front 3. Caddo gives a little love tap to his teammate Uris around the outside at scene. He's essentially doing the move that Grandy did to him, but 1 corner early. Caddo back up to the podium positions. This is now a fascinating strategy fight all the way to the end here. Will it be Bluebell Boy? Will it be Not That Guy right behind him, who took the hards and should be even longer until he comes in for that final stint, perhaps able to make up time on the softs right at the end. It looks like he will be taking the softs if he can hang out on the hards for just a couple laps more, or maybe one more lap, and then pitting for mediums. It's entirely his call and the call of the Flying V Racing team. Caddo running in third. Grandy's just been shaken off by him a little bit, but Caddo is on the soft, and that is not a very durable tyre. That's a really interesting strategy. Caddo will be into the pit lane one more time. I have very little doubt of that, because he pitted only a couple laps ago. Bluebell Boy now into the pit lane. Not that guy leads, but for how much longer? Caddo on the softs breezes his way past the Italian driver Fox, causing a few issues for the Frenchman out in the lead of his home Grand Prix at the moment, but he's going to look to just fly down this straight and go away in the race lead. Now it's Grandy on the mediums. He's in a slightly more precarious situation, because it looks like he might be able to get to the end on these tyres, but it would really be a stretch. Only 8 laps is the low side of what is recommended for the mediums, and 11 laps would be pretty deadly, especially in this final sector where one wide move and you're ending up deep in the runoff and losing a lot of grip from your tyres. Caddo looking to just make the gap while he still has the grip to do so. Grandy, then not that guy, Bluebell, flying behind. He's got clean air ahead of him, but rain on the way, and this can massively play into the hands of both Caddo and Grandy, and not that guy. In fact, sorry, less so, well actually, mainly not Bluebell is the point there. Not that guy really benefiting off this. He's fighting up amazing as a lap down, but Caddo with such a monumental lead would have had to come in off those softs anyway, I have very little doubt, but now he has to come in for some rain. The question is how long this rain will stay for. Will all of the front pack come in? You'd assume so. Not that guy in for Flying V Racing. Bluebell Boy in, gets a clean stop there. Grandy, clean stop as well for Cola Sforza, and it's heavy rain, and Bluebell was the only one in this top 5 who actually put on the full wet weather tyre. Can he use these final 7 laps to make that gap back up to the podium runners? Caddo with a great lead. Not that guy, bailed out by the rain. He took those hards as long as they possibly go, and they did work out for him in the end. Grandy in third position at the moment, but might be under pressure soon from Bluebell Boy if this heavy rain sticks around, but notoriously changeable conditions here, and definitely potential for changeable positions as well. Caddo would not like this complication late on, to be honest. He was having a good race, he was looking good for the win, he was making that gap and looking to pit into it, get a final stint in on softs, but this complication of running inters in heavy rain conditions could really be the undoing of him now. Grandy looking to close up to the back of not that guy, but it is really wet out there now. Bluebell on the wets looking to close in. Het on the wets also looking to close in. The light rain is coming back, but the track won't dry up while it's still raining, so we'll continue to have full standing water on this track as it is. With just 5 laps to go, Caddo leads the French Grand Prix. Not that guy in second. Grandy moves through past Vladinator. He's still in third position for the time being. There's Bluebell Boy on that wet weather tyre, looking to make up the gap. He's yet to do it. He's just stuck 2 seconds off the pace of the podium sitters at the moment. We will have more rain returning, so on top of the standing water that we've already got, this is now looking a bit like what happened behind Grandy in Monaco. It's happening to Grandy here. Is the fight for the win just slipping away? Will he have to just gun for second place? Not that guy with a poor line through the final corner. Can Bluebell potentially get himself on the podium despite rain going against his strategy at the end of the race here? Can he potentially make his way up? It definitely got the right tyres for the current conditions. Grandy has moved up into second place. Caddo is not that far ahead. The pit crew, I think, was causing him some grief through the chicane there, but not that guy with his teammate a lap down on him. Maybe just deployed there to help him out. Hold up Bluebell Boy if he possibly can. Grandy's still running in second. We've had not that much changing for position, but Caddo just looking to hold on. He's looking so close to what will be an amazing result for him. His first ever victory, Team Velocity's 10th ever victory at Le Castellet. Grandy now gets past his teammate pit crew, who held on to Caddo thanks to that tyre advantage for a long time, but we've still got 4 more laps, 3.5 to go now, and Grandy really closing in. Can he take his 8th victory? Can he further strengthen his championship lead? His teammate pit crew running again in the points in 8th position, but can Grandy take the race win here? Caddo will have his heart in his mouth, Just 2 laps to go. Not That Guy has been closed in on by Bluebell. He'll get the better run up the main straight. Not That Guy inching ahead into turn 1. Shows Bluebell the outside line though. Really close fights everywhere you look. Grandy closing in on Caddo. Not That Guy and Bluebell scrapping it down. Not That Guy gets the better exit down the straight, but Caddo really looking like he's running out of grip. We've had massively tight finishes here in Le Castellet, in the sprint last season, in races in so many seasons, and we might just get another one here as they come through the penultimate corner, the final corner. 1 lap to go. The gap is just half a second between first and second. Caddo looking to hold on for his first win, for Velocity's 10th win. Grandy right on his tail, but he makes a huge mistake. Off into the runoff. Heavy rain returns. Bluebell looks to finally have cleared. Not That Guy. Can he make a charge coming into the end of this lap? Caddo really just skating wide there. Bluebell has a lot of grip underneath him. Is he an outside shout? Not That Guy. Still looking to hang on for the podium if he possibly can. Looking at the inside of Bluebell. We'll have to focus on that in a second because it looks like Caddo has done just enough to hold on for his first ever race win. For Velocity's 10th, Caddo wins the French Grand Prix. Grandy finishes second, and it was Bluebell by just a hair who got that podium ahead of Not That Guy, looking to take his first points in Ultimate Virtual with a podium. Didn't manage it in the end. Hetmenica finishes in 5th position, and what a race from Abva, 6th place with a single token. A really strong start to the season for him and the Fox team. That is 8 points for them. Andres will come home. 2 tokens spent, only 6 points earned for it. He won't be delighted with that, but Pit Crew once again taking points, and it is double points, of course, for Thunder X. 8th place for him. Yet more points to add to his tally. I believe that's 13 that he's on this season. Apple amazing, also looking to come across and score some tokenless points. A really good effort from him and the Porsche team today. They'll be relatively pleased with taking home 12 points, and Sobel had the better of his teammate in the end, who had a bit of a collision at the end. Here are the final race results. Caddo, with the fastest lap, takes the victory here at Le Castellet. Grandy will finish second. It's a 10th win for Team Velocity. What a fantastic effort from them, and Grandy will be disappointed to have not won the race, but further strengthens that championship lead. A 3rd consecutive P3 for the Carlos Tuazza team. It was marked in Jeddah. It was Bluebell in Monaco, and it's Bluebell again for the French Grand Prix. A great start to their UV lives they're having. Not That Guy takes home his first points with 12 of them very close to a podium. Just 2/10 away in the end, about a quarter of a second between him and Bluebell across the line. Hetmenica will take 5th position. It was Abfa, then Andres. Another good race for Carlos Tuazza, for Thunder X, and for Porsche as well. Sobel will take that final point for BFX ahead of his teammate Rito. Giruni in 12th, then it's Fox and Kubo, Anti and Jurist. Jake just behind him. Vladnator takes 8th, and the Fuerza Roja is lacking in grip. Well, lacking really in acceleration, to be honest, as it stands, and so they just couldn't get away from the plethora of low-speed corners at this circuit. 19th and 20th for them. What an entertaining race it was. Le Castellet always produces classics. Great races for these drivers, for the Frenchman, for the Finn, and for the Fijian, all on the podium. And we'll see you next time for the first ever British Grand Prix in Ultimate Virtual, hosted in Bedford at the Sunderland Hills circuit. That's next week, and until then, bye bye.